Hello, this is Jamie Magrich. Welcome to Jamie's Craft Table. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card. It looks really bleached out. My lights are too bright. There you go. Alright, let's get started. The only ink I'm using is basic gray. I'm only using one stamp set, Sailing Home. I'm bringing in metallic pearls for my embellishment and a little bit of glitter that I had in my stash because this was like a challenge card. I was watching Call Me Crafty Alicia, and she does like challenges type thing where her audience puts in suggestions, she picks one, and then they make cards from that challenge. Well, this challenge was a lighthouse and everything was in grays. I didn't want to copy hers exactly, but then they throw in a sabotage, and the sabotage was using glitter. So I don't know if you can even see it, but there's a little bit of glitter down here in the water and up here in the light. So that's why I'm bringing in the glitter. Okay. Oh, I didn't even mount my stamps yet, so let's do that. Let's see. I'll use this one for this. I need the two boats. That's too small. I need the birds. And the thanks. Okay. All right. Now the pieces. I have my card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. That's a thick card base, standard US A2 size. With lots of layers. 2 1/4 by 2 3/4 inch piece of white. 1 1/4 by 1 3/4 inch piece of gray granite. 1 1/2 by 2 inch piece of basic gray. And I have 2 3/4 by 1 3/4 inch piece of white. 2 1/2 by 3 inch gray granite. 3 1/4 by 2 1/4 inch piece of basic gray. Then I have 1 1/2 or 1 by 1 1/2 inch piece of white. 3 by 2 inch piece of gray granite. 2 3/4 by 3 1/4 inch piece of basic gray, and each one's a 1/4 inch larger than the next. And this doesn't look right. Yeah, this is too wide. I've got to trim this down to 2 3/4. So I'll do that in a minute. Then the last piece is 4 1/8 by 5 7/8. So let me go trim this down. I'll just bring in a trimmer real fast. It needs to be 3 1/4 by 2 3/4. So that's the 3 1/4 side. So this side needs to be 2 3/4. Okay. Alright. Now that I've got all my pieces correct, and you can see because it has that perfect border around it now. Okay. Now we can start stamping. Okay, it's really not a lot to stamp. On the 1 inch by 1 1/2 inch piece, I'm going to take the largest sailboat I'm going to ink that up. And right in the middle, we're going to stamp that sailboat. Oh, we are going to need the memento as well for the sentiment. Okay. Bring out my cleaner. I'm going to go ahead and clean my stamps as I go. Okay. And get out memento. Go ahead and stamp that sentiment while I'm at it. Perfect. Okay, so there's that piece. It's a little crooked, but it'll work. Maybe we'll turn it over and do it again, just because that's going to bug the heck out of me. It's not much better. It's alright. We'll put it aside. And then this piece we need a scrap paper for. This is a 2 3/4 by 1. Can't even see it. So you know what? We'll do this instead. Take a piece of Post-it note, put it underneath it like that. That'll work. Okay, now we're going to take the lighthouse. We're going to ink it up. And it's going to hang off the bottom. You're not going to get much of the bottom. Okay, then I'm going to ink up just the bottom part very carefully so I'm not getting any of the other part. I am going to add a little bit of the bottom part. I only need it on the one side. Okay, there's that piece. Now this piece is going to get the birds on it. Put the memento away. I'm done with that. And that's all the stamping. It's really a very simple card. Okay, now we're going to attach all of our layers. Let's start with this one. And we're going to take the 2 3/4 by 1 inch, 3/4 inch piece of white. I think that's right. I don't know. We're going to take the layer we stamped on. Which side looks better? I guess I'll use the original side. I'm going to mount that to the gray granite layer. It's going to be an 1/8 of an inch border all the way around because it's a 1/4 inch smaller. And I'm going to come in with dimensionals. I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of this layer. I think I want a little more in the middle. Mount that on top of this gray layer. Okay, then the lighthouse is next. And these two. glue or adhesive directly to the gray granite layer. A few dimensionals on the back of this. Mount that on this basic gray layer. Now the birds. Same thing. Mount the white layer to the gray granite layer. Dimensionals on the back of it. This will get mounted on the basic gray layer. Okay, now we're going to bring in this 4 1/8 by 5 7/8 inch piece of white. We're going to lay these out. Now this one's going to get mounted directly right here, so let's go ahead and do that one first. I'm going to try to leave about the same border, maybe a little bit less. Okay, and this one is going to go down here. So I'm not going to need dimensionals on this side, but I am on this side because it's raised up. So let's flip it over. I'm going to need some dimensionals here, and here, here. This is going to need wet glue. Okay, and that's going to go down here. Okay, and this one is going to go here. And again, we're just going to need dimensionals on this side. A little wet glue on this side. There we go. Now this is going to get mounted to the front of our card. This already has 2 layers of dimensionals, so we're just going to use the wet glue. And this doesn't have much of a border. Very little bit of a border. Okay. Now I've put some of the Tombow glue into a finer tip bottle. I'm just going to use this. I'm going to add a little bit of glue up here where the light would be coming out. Get it to come out because I accidentally left the lid off. Well, it's not going to come out, so let's just use our glue. A little bit of glue here where the light would be coming out, a little bit down here at this bottom where the water line is here, below the boat. Just putting a little bit of glue. Now we're going to add our glitter. Bring in a coffee filter or folded paper, whatever you need to do. Add that glitter. Gets everywhere. going to let that dry, and when it's dry, I'll come in with a Swiffer and get off any that is not attached. Okay, I got most of it. Now I'm going to come in with those metallic pearls. I need 3 of those little silver looking ones. I'm going to line them up down here. There we go. There's the card we just made together. Here's the one I did previously. Well, thank you so much for joining me today at Jamie's Craft Table. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope you can find a little bit of time to play with some stamps, ink, and paper.